This is Eric Erdman, and you're listening to Dealing the Mobile Sound. And when Lynn Oldshoe approached me about hosting this podcast, I was all in, and we decided that if we were going to do it, we should do it from Callahan's, which is one of the staple music venues here in the Mobile area. So we are here in the green room of Callahan's, and today we have a special guest. It's my friend I've known so long that I consider him a family member. He's a venue owner. The Mobile music scene absolutely would not be the same without him, the one and only Mr. Noell Broughton.
Man, thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words, too, and thanks for having me. Thanks for thinking of me.
Oh, of course, man. I mean, literally, we love the rich, variety of music we have here in Mobile, but without you providing a place, or many places actually, many of those musicians never have a chance to go further or develop their skills, and I'm one of them for sure. Like, my career is totally different because of you, and I'm thankful for you.
It's been my pleasure.
Oh.
We've always talked about how we thought that there was something, that the music scene in Mobile was kind of really like no other. And, we were surrounded by so many good musicians that we just, kind of took it for granted for a long time. And then we're like, is this really happening in the rest of the world? Because I really don't think it is.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. And having traveled a lot, that's part of the reason why I was so excited to do this podcast, because I know that it's special and it's different. Yeah. And that's, again, it's not our team versus their team. I'm not saying ours is special and theirs isn't, but you got to recognize when something's as unique as our music scene is. And
I agree.
One of the things I love is how eclectic it is. And there's there's always a tinge of blues or jazz or something in there, but there are great hip hop artists and R&B and folk singers and everything. And somehow it seems to all go in the same basket. Like, I could know that it was Mobile music, even though it's drastically different.
Yeah. I remember all the years of even back at Monsoons. I mean, I would really kind of take pride in all the wide range of music that would be in there, because I did rap, I did hip hop, we had funk, we had horns, solo acts, acoustic duos, you name it.
I remember
it was so much fun.
I remember one night my old band, the Ugly Stick, after BayFest, played with the Ohio Players horn section. Do you remember that?
Yes,
I'm
do.
sure you probably forgotten more gigs than most
You're
of us have played.
But I do remember that.
But
those BayFest days, I mean, there was no telling who would show up.
Yeah,
and Herbie Hancock showed up one time and sat in.
Oh my God!
Yeah, sat in with somebody, and I think at that time I was bartending too, and somebody's like, "Man, that's Herbie Hancock on the stage. Get out of here!"
So
yeah,
just
of course he is.
Yeah, it's Monsoons, baby. You don't know.
Yeah, you never know. We had, I remember, I think those BayFest runs is when Incubus played.
Oh, I was
Seven
there.
Mary 3 came through one time and played. Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy to think about all those names in that little bitty building. I still walk by that building and look in that window about every day.
Yeah.
I think, did that happen?
Every time I'm downtown, I look over there and have a little moment of silence for all the magic that happened in there. But speaking of that Incubus concert, so in one of the, you're sitting around the campfire with a bunch of musicians, and there's always like the conversation starters, like, what's the best concert you ever saw? What's the worst concert you ever saw? But one of them I like to say is, what's the biggest band that you saw when they were the smallest, or that kind of thing?
Yeah, before they hit it.
Before they hit it, and for me, 100%. I was in there.
Yeah.
Bobby Harvey and I went down to Monsoons and watched. It was Shooty's Groove, Funk Junkies, and Incubus, and we only went down there because 311 had toured, and that was the three bands opening for them on the tour, and you booked that package deal, and we were vaguely familiar with Funk Junkies and one song by Shooty's Groove, and we went in there and saw Incubus, and we're like, man, this is like my new favorite band. Too bad they're so weird that nobody's ever going to listen to them.
Wrong.
Then they became the biggest band.
I forgot about the Funk Junkies, man. Those guys, I think that guy's name was Joe, lead singer, but they were a good band too.
Yeah, all three of those bands were great.
Top notch.
Well,
The other day, the Outfield came on. This was yesterday, and I was like, man, the Outfield played Monsoons twice.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. Absolutely. And then I had recently seen where, I think the lead singer passed away recently, but, the Outfield was a big band.
Yep.
But, yeah, they were cool. Good times.
Yeah, well, good times seems to follow you.
Good
Not
times, great oldies.
not due to luck, I think. I think you're the creator of good times. But you might have noticed that we're sitting here in Callahan's at the Green Room, and it's not a normal table here at Callahan's in the Green Room. They have a poker table as the centerpiece of the Green Room, and I can't even imagine how many drinks have been spilled into this thing or how many set lists have been written on it.
I never knew this room was here until just now. Because actually, I walked into that other room over there where it says employees only.
Yeah.
Didn't look like a good podcast room.
Well, here you go.
Yeah,
Welcome to this.
Much better. This is pretty cool. I mean, you look at the just the history in here. I mean, look at all the stuff that JT's done in here. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, for those listening, it's kind of cool. They have many of the acts that have played here have stapled their set list to the ceiling and the walls. So
That's pretty cool.
there's a lot of words. We should make a game out of that one of these times. Be like, go pick a random song title that you don't know.
Whose set list is that?
Right.
But be good.
Since we're sitting around this poker table, we thought in order just to have some fun with the interview, we would have like a metaphorical poker game with you today. And so we're gonna.
I like to gamble.
All right, let's go. We're gonna start out with the ante up. What was the first time you remember putting some chips in on the table to bet on yourself, like in the Mobile music scene? Like if it was a music venue or booking bands or something like that.
Well, that kind of I kind of have two parts of that. Well, because my first restaurant was called 14 South in Fairhope, and I was 23 years old, and I had saved some money, me and two other guys, and went in and we opened it, and then I had an upstairs, and I immediately started bringing music in, which I was doing like one night a week, and then it turned into 3 or 4 nights a week, and then I remember Kung Fu Mama played every Thursday for like 3 years. It was so much fun, and I remember at that time too that Fairhope, there wasn't much going on in Fairhope, and then when the band started going late night in Fairhope, we started. It started rattling a little bit of cages over there in quaint Fairhope, and the next thing you know, there'd be some cops outside, but we'd go till 1 o'clock in the morning. So to say, going, putting my chips on the table for that restaurant, and then doing music was kind of one. But then I bought Monsoons about a year later. And,
what year was that?
That was 1997, okay. April 16th, 1997. And December 5th was when I opened up 14 South,
okay.
96. And so Monsoons, that was it. I mean, that was nothing but music. It wasn't open if there wasn't music playing, and that was 7 days a week. It was so much fun. And so I was in college. I mean, I literally quit school to go. Of course, I was on my way to being a professional student. That's for sure. But I remember telling my grandparents, my dad, and them I was going to quit school and go and be in a restaurant. And my grandfather tried to talk me out of it, but turns out. It kind of worked out for me.
Yeah, you're pretty good at it.
It hadn't all been strikes. There's been some gutters, but, I'd say Monsoons was the first kind of all in, putting it out there. And then, not just the project itself, but, we were talking about, gambling on music, because you have guarantees with these bands, and you're hoping that the night turns out good, hoping nothing else is going on when you book it a month out, and that, you just don't.
Yeah, you're gambling.
Your timing was
night.
off, not necessarily the artist, but the timing was off for when it was coming through, but yeah, that's what.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't gutter ball all the time and enough to keep it open. How many places do you have at the moment?
At the moment, I have 5. I've got both Lucky Irish pubs, one on Saraland and Airport, the Brickyard, Grace, and Debris.
Cool.
That's it. It's not like that. Man, I'm pulling my hair out. As you can see, I don't have any left with just 5. There was a time when I think I had like 9 at one time. And I look back at that and I'm like, I don't know, what was I thinking?
Yeah, I knew you're the music venue mogul. You were playing Monopoly with the Fairhope and Mobile area, but to our point here about the music scene, that means that you've employed so many of the musicians here, including myself, that it's like that's so valuable to us, and I just want to say thank you, genuinely.
Well, it's a pleasure, and it's reciprocated, man. I mean, I get to enjoy the music, there was, there's a little bit of selfishness to my game too, you know. I mean, like,
Right.
you know, how do I get to see this band? Why don't I just find them and book them and let's put them right here in front of us?
That's a surefire way
You
to
know,
do it.
That's what you do.
For everybody out there listening, you want to hear the music, just book the band.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Only because I know you so well, and we've been friends for so long. I know that know your parents and who have become really close friends of mine and mentors. They've really helped me and inspired me and showed me some songwriters I was unaware of and really been important to me. Yeah. And I'm guessing that was part of the reason you got into
music. I mean, I was born in music. I think my first concert was Kiss at that's what Dad says, that was at the Civic Center in Mobile, and the opening act had canceled, so they called Wooden Daydreams to come open up, which was, you know, a folk, you know, acoustic 3-part harmony band.
Perfect.
I think they said they got like fruit thrown at them, and everybody out there's face is painted.
And my question is,
and
who comes to a Kiss concert with fruit?
Well, you know, that's what he told me.
So that's your first concert?
That's what I'm being told. I was like a baby.
Was your dad opening for Kiss?
Yes.
Nice. Well,
that's a good story there.
That makes perfect sense as to why you're a music venue
But
owner.
you know, as a kid going to gigs with them, and you know, I remember just. Man, it was unbelievable. I remember Hurricane Frederick, and I guess I was 6, and the power went out, and like all the band people came over to the house, and we were sleeping in the hallway, and it was candlelights, and they were in there just playing music all night long. Unreal. And it was really good.
Yeah,
too.
I was going to say, not just any music,
Not just any
high
music.
level, professional grade music.
Yes,
I think
as
you
good
had,
as it gets.
I think you probably had the best Hurricane Frederick experience of
Man,
any
it
other
was unreal.
6-year-old.
And you know, yes, it really outweighed the devastation of that hurricane, because man, that was a good time for me. No,
You didn't have to crank
best
the chainsaw.
hurricane ever. I shouldn't say that.
Is that why you named it Monsoons?
It was already named that.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just that was just a coincidence.
All right. Well, now that we've anteed up, let's talk about the next part of the card game is the flop. Seemingly, you haven't had a flop from my side. It seems like everything you touch works out. But is there any, maybe just an event or something you thought would work out better? You know, you're going to throw a, whatever, Christmas party or open some bar, some cartoon themed restaurant. I don't know.
Whoa, I think we got an idea. You know, just like anything else, man, you know, it's hard. It's very hard. There's struggles with it, you know, maintaining it, especially when you're offering a product to these people that you've just got to stay fresh, and and it's real easy for me to get burned out. And then, you know, when I get burned out, you know, the quality of the product suffers. So I think I have my model is when about that time comes, it's time for me to sell. And, you know,
Right.
that's kind of been my MO, instead of walking away from it, because, you know, you build something and somebody else could take it and run with it and you know, gain that momentum. So I don't know that I've necessarily had any bars or restaurants that flopped. But, you know, I would say, you know, I have booked big weekends of music, and, you know, a week long, you know, where I put it all out there, and, you know,
Right.
like we were talking about earlier, you know, and this is nothing to say with the band at all, or, you know, the quality of music, but you never know what down the road, if something else is going on.
Right.
I remember booking big bands. It took me a couple of years at Monsoons. I would book big bands on their way to Jazz Fest, but I didn't realize they were on their way to Jazz Fest, and it would be Jazz Fest weekend. And of course, you know, everybody be at Jazz Fest.
Right. So.
But it was a good time to get them. But then on the same page, everybody, you know, because that was a 3 weekend deal that, you know, that,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, you don't think about it, but a lot of people go to Jazz Fest.
Yeah, it's a big
It's great.
a big draw from here.
Yeah.
But
So that's
you
just
learn.
one scenario.
Yeah, but you learn. And that's funny that you say that, you know, you book a band and there's something else happening in town the same night. You never know when you book
never
it. I was like, I've been on the you should have been here last weekend tour about half my career, I think. Oh,
You know,
man, you're great. You should have been here last weekend.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I still do it. I get all the local calendars, and I have a book, you know, that I book all my music with. And man, when I was doing music at Bone and Barrel, both Lucky's and the Brickyard, I had 4 different books, and you know, and I do it, you know, do it all myself, text or calling people. Oof. But I always in the calendar, I'd look ahead, be like, this is like Jazz Fest would be there. Mullet toss in April was one back in the day that especially for that younger target crowd, they're all going to the Floribama, and,
Right.
So all those little things like that. But now with the restaurants, I mean, we got Visit Mobile, and there's so much going on, that we that you gotta contend with. But some of it's not all bad. Some of it brings more people to town.
Right. Let me ask you this. I don't even know if there is an answer to this. I'll just kind of get your opinion on it. But from my understanding, historically, Mobile used to be a heavy spot for big national and international touring acts that would stop at the Civic Center. And somewhere in the 70s, there was a scandal where somebody was, shaving money off behind closed doors. And we got blackballed as a city.
I heard it too.
Which slowly over time created a scene for like Biloxi, Mississippi, and Pensacola, because people would just skip over Mobile on I-10 headed to wherever they're going, and then a lot of those acts didn't come back. Do you think that with that vacuum of the big acts coming, it opened up an opportunity for there to be, instead of having one big concert venue, you could have 10 smaller music venues? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I did hear that legendary tale of what happened. I don't know the details of it. But I did hear that the rumors of Mobile getting blackballed, and not really knowing the details. I'm pretty sure it's true because we didn't get any music at the Civic Center. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
Once in a blue moon we got one. In the last 52 years of my life. Just said I'm 52, by the way. But I think that it definitely didn't hinder our music scene. That's for sure. But the big bands, I guess we did miss out on all that. But I mean, I kind of getting these regional acts and stuff like I did at Monsoons for so long. It still worked. It still worked, and I mean, I think that, people still crave it. I hope with this new arena that they're building now, man, I'm so pumped about that. I think that, it's about to put us back on the map. Is what I think.
Cool.
That's what I hope too.
I guess I'm more wondering than questioning. That it's just interesting to me to think about what has made such a fertile original music scene here. Of course, there's lots of people playing covers. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's lots of venues that cater to that. But I feel like our original music from here can stand up against about anywhere else. And we're not a huge city. We're a pretty middle-sized city, and I've been in a lot of middle-sized cities. They don't have this much outpouring of original content, and it's like that makes me question where it comes from. And I'm just kind of wondering if the big acts had continually been coming to the Civic Center, or do we just stay trying to emulate the big acts, and all the people just spend all their music money going to the big acts, and then they don't really go out on Wednesday to see their local guy. But when you're starved for it, maybe you go out and see. It
creates more desire.
Then you get a Ross Newell.
Yeah. We could talk about it for days, but it is like in the last 30 years. I've owned my own restaurant for 30 years this year, starting next year. That's crazy. But anyway, all these years of these new local artists coming out. I mean, you would hear about somebody playing somewhere, and then it's like, hey, you got to go check them out. And the next thing you know, you're going, where did you come from, man? I mean, it's we talk like Ross. I think he's from Fruitdale. And he just pops up on the scene, and you're like, good golly, man. Yeah. But there's so many. I mean, there's so many of them, and I feel like there even to this day new ones pop up. I do solo stuff on Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and I keep it rotating all the time. And somebody will send me a new name, and I don't get down and hear them, every night. But I got the people in the bar that'll text me, man, this guy's good. So then when they come back, I'm like, golly, I got a plan to be there the next time. It's just hard staying up late like that anymore.
Well, we got a segment at the end where we're going to pick your brain. We might let you run a minute because I want some of these fresh new names. But right now, let's talk about The Turn is the next card in the card game. And so, do you remember a time where it turned from being like, oh, I have a restaurant where I'd like to throw some music in the corner because I love music, to being like, wait, I need to make this a focal point because the music scene around here can fill the slot. So like there's enough going on here to where like, oh, because I don't think you could do that in every city. I know you couldn't do that in every city, but like it's a hand in glove situation. We need you, you need us.
Right.
But it's like if you wanted to open a music venue and there's no musicians to fill it, that's
Right.
not going to work.
It's going to be tough.
If you have a ton of musicians and there's no places to play, we're going to have to leave.
Yeah.
So
Well, my newest restaurant, Grace, which it's a high end, and I wanted to do this rooftop bar, I mean, in mine, there's a stage in there. I built a stage right from the get go, and it's like, you're gonna do music. I'm like, I will eventually. We try to figure out and get the lay of the land in here, and I've got a guy playing piano tonight, which I got a cool story about that. I have a piano in there that was in the old Papa George's supper club.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine got it out of there and had it in storage, and then he asked me if I wanted it, and I said yeah. So I got it kind of switched up, took the action out, and got to put a electric piano in there, so it has the look of an old piano. But anyway, so we got this little got a piano guy in there tonight. So cool. I'm going to do the music somewhere.
Right.
It's coming. It's coming.
Come to the
anybody
conclusion.
that knows me know that it's going to be there eventually, for sure. But I mean, music brings everybody together. Who doesn't? I mean, like. It's just, there's nothing better in the world than music, for sure.
For sure. I mean, I clearly am a lifer. I have lashed myself to that mast. But
I'm glad you did.
Well, thank you. But I don't know. I just want to pick your brain and just, I'm sure there are untold thousands that you could pull from, but do any stick out in your head of like just acts that you didn't know or you weren't really expecting a lot of that just jumped out and just blew your mind?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I feel like I could tell a story on every one of them, but because they're all so good, I tell you this: I've never had any letdowns.
Well,
that's honest. I mean, like I don't think I've ever had anybody. I know I haven't had somebody come in and play and put a show and me go, man, that wasn't very good. I mean, when you're in the presence of it and you get to feel it, what's coming off the stage. I mean, it's always especially somebody's pouring out their soul and. Yeah, man. I mean, there's respect for it, for sure.
Well, we've talked about it multiple times on the other episodes of this podcast, but one of the things I love about the Mobile music scene is that, with very rare exception, it doesn't feel like there's anybody competing with somebody else. It feels like one big family, and everybody's lifting everybody up.
100%.
And as long as they're not at some other gig, they're going to be at that person's CD release party or whatever gig they have, and buy all their T-shirts and be there just literally as a fan.
Oh man, the camaraderie with musicians is it really is something else. I mean, when somebody plays here, there's the room's half full of local musicians. Every time somebody plays here, especially like on a Wednesday when Stan and Phil play.
Yeah.
So I mean, absolutely, and Gabe Willis, who's tremendous.
Love Gabe.
Tremendous.
Yep. We'll get him on here hopefully.
Yeah, he's awesome. But every Wednesday, and I think he's doing a songwriter thing in Fairhope now on Mondays, where he gets a different artist. But every Wednesday at Brickyard, he brings somebody different with him.
Oh, cool.
And it's awesome. It's awesome. But you look at all the. I mean, sometimes you get different variations of bands. If a band's playing and somebody can't, you never know who's going to be coming in and playing guitar. So I feel like, definitely the camaraderie with musicians is huge here. Huge.
Well, it goes. I mean,
one big family.
We do have one big family, but it's also. I mean, we feel it that way about the venue owners too. Like I said, I'm full on feel like you're my brother, and I'm JT. I feel the same
for sure.
way, and it's like you grow. We're all on the same team. We all love the same.
Oh yeah,
the same deal.
Absolutely. We all want to support each other and make the world go round, for sure.
That's it.
But you're right. I mean, it is so special around here. I'm glad y'all are doing this because it really isn't happening like this everywhere else. And I'm not trying to say us against the world either. But what is here and the talent that's in this area. I mean, and look at how far it goes back.
Let's talk about that because we've been having current, people who are seeing success, right now in a big way. We've had a string of those on here, but we've had music here for a very long time.
So with my parents playing music and my dad playing slide guitar in bands when he was in high school, And the stories he would tell, he was a bit younger than everybody else, but when I go to all these bars, like you go to Veets or anywhere, when you see it, everybody, oh man, how's your dad? Right? When's he young? Even back, the camaraderie was back then too.
Yeah.
So I believe it's carried forward. But there's not, somebody asked me about my dad and playing music, 3-4 times a week for sure, always. How's he doing? Is he playing music? Him and DJ playing music? I'm like, I sure wish they were. That's what we need to do. We need to get them back out.
I love it when I'll go over whenever I can. When I'm in town off the road, I'll go over and hang out with your dad and play some guitar. And he's like, oh, my hand, I got some issues. I can't really play anything. And I'll play him like the most complicated thing I've come up with since the last time I was there. And he's like, oh, cool, like this. And just rip it out. And like, my hand. And I'm like, get out of here. Get out of here.
But it's really crazy when you think about it, that the camaraderie and all the musicians that for as far back as I've been told, and it just continues today.
Do you notice that? I mean, I think it's evident, but there's a lot of creativity and people that have recorded great things here. But due to that camaraderie, I think also people are not too good to share their stage with other musicians too, not just as a fan. Like there are people like, oh, you're here, just get up and jam with me. So there's a lot of improvisation and everybody backing each other up.
Yep.
And I feel like that's part of the sound of Mobile, is that like, oh, well, you've jammed with me 5 times now at Veets, so hey, you want to record on my album? It's like, well, you don't even play the same style of music I do, but who cares? We're buddies, and I like what you do. And I'm saying, do you have a memory of a time when there were like 2 acts, or specifically like a Mobile act and somebody else that just kind of happened, some magic on stage?
Well, you know what? You're familiar with the Redfield? This just popped into my head.
Absolutely.
Well, Dave and Alice used to come in and play with their band. They were so good. And they came in one time and had Phil Proctor come in and play with them. Man, oh man.
Oh yeah.
I think they only did it like once. But every time I talk to Dave after that, I'm like, man, oh man, it was off the chain. I try not to stay till the very end, because if I do, I have too many beers. But I stayed till the end.
A wise man once told me, if you want to hear a band, you should just book them.
That's funny, but that story that show just popped into my head just because
And that was at Brickyard.
It was at Brickyard.
Oh,
kind of impromptu. They needed a guitar player. He jumped in. Whoa!
Yeah,
blew the doors
all
off.
3 of them are exceptionally great.
Top tier for sure, and good people.
Yep, indeed. Well, very early on in my career, I got to play for you at Monsoons, and to me, that was the epicenter at that era of the Mobile music scene. There were other places that had music, and shout out to all of them. Big love to all of them. Again, it's not a competition, but like, you really knew like Monsoons was like gonna have something cool there, and that like when we were off, that's where we went to see music.
Yeah,
and then it was like that's the real gig, quote unquote, we had on the calendar. We used
to do weekends too.
Yeah,
remember, it'd be both nights.
Yeah,
it was
Saturday.
Friday, Saturday. That was I still wonder how we fit all those people in that building, because like we were talking about, when you go looking through that window. I mean, that's when I kind of have those. I looked at that and I'm like, no way.
It seems so small, but it
seemed massive.
We put how many people?
Oh, man.
Let's not
500,
say
600
in case the fire marshal is listening.
Man, a statute of limitations is out on that.
Okay, a lot.
1,000.
Yeah. But yeah, there were some of my more memorable gigs were in there for sure. I remember one night with Afro Man. I remember that. That was
that was when the CD player didn't work.
Yeah, my old band, we were opening for Afro Man, and he had come through town like a year before that.
He had a
with
full
a
band.
Yeah, and then he got all the acclaim from because they got out.
Yep.
And then he came back through, and this time he just came in with a CD player. So we played our whole set, and then it's just Afro Man and a CD player, and it's like, dude, you're like nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
And it's like you could have bought a $100 like skip resistant CD player, and it was just
CD player didn't work.
A $15 Walkman from the CVS or something, wherever you bought it for, And every time the bass would hit, the CD would skip.
Yeah.
And these people just paid a lot of money.
It was
and they were all
packed.
standing in there, and
Yeah.
and he said, "I'm sorry, my CD skipped." And he went back out to the car, which took 5 or 10 minutes. Came back, put the CD in, and it was doing it because the CD was fine. It was the apparatus. Well, the people started getting rowdy, and then we were like trying to save the save from being a riot.
Yeah.
So
Which y'all did.
We got up there, and that's still to this day one of the most unusual gigs I've ever played, because he would turn around and just go, this one goes doo 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 doo, and then we would just play that for 4 minutes, and he would sing and rap, and then he'd turn around and go, this one goes doop doop doo 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 doo, and we would just play that, and then we'd do that for 4 minutes, and we made it through the end.
Man, I have always wondered how y'all pulled that off. Because I know you probably weren't familiar with.
We didn't. We had heard because
we're
they got
talking.
high.
It was full band. It was everybody was on the stage.
Yeah,
it was 5 of y'all and him, 4 of y'all and him, with no practice, just impromptu doing it to playing to a packed house, and it was killer.
There were a lot of people there. we were just trying to keep the gig going and not get
man. Well, y'all did a heck of a job.
Not have it flipped over.
It was pretty impressive, to say the least.
But that's just one of a million Monsoons memories I have, and it's such a special place for me personally. But like it was like for an entire generation of people. I think it was important. And anyway, I just
I still have people to this day that I'll see. They'll be like, "Man, old Monsoons was the best bar ever." And I always like when they say it. I contemplate. I think about it, and I go, "Man, it was like there were really no rules back then." I mean, because I almost feel like there weren't any.
It felt a little lawless. It felt a little feral.
When you think about it, I'm like, I know there were rules and regulations and laws, and the ABC board showed up. Police would show up if necessary, but it did seem lawless is a good word.
Yeah,
it was wild.
All the
fun,
wild.
and especially when you're talking about which it's still to this day, Mobile doesn't have to close. I mean, and you think about there's not that many municipalities left that don't close.
That blew my mind as a young person, because I was playing gigs here and then started touring, and I just thought that
we were
was
starting at 10 or 11.
I thought that was it, and I would go to like Houston, which is way bigger than we are, and we'd be done at midnight. And I'm like, all right, where are we going now? And they're like, home. I'm like, what? And they're like, but where's the after hours bar? And they're like, nothing's open.
I remember Wayne Mills was the first one to call me and say, man, it was after a weekend that they were there, and he said. We were talking about it. I said, call me. We're going to book another date. And he said, man, no more Friday nights in Mobile, because I can't play Friday night in Mobile and make it to Auburn and start at 7. It's just too much. He was the first one. I was like, no, I'm serious. I'm not playing in Mobile because I can't make the next gig. Because, Wayne, the fun didn't stop when Wayne quit. That's for sure. So and plus, if the band quit and load out, the sun was up.
Yeah.
The sun was set. So it was late. It was fun. And of course, I remember Monsoon. But sometimes we didn't start till 11 or 12.
Yep.
Because people wouldn't be. There would be nobody there.
Yep.
I would try to say, hey man, let's start by 10, but there wouldn't be anybody there.
Yep.
At about 4 o'clock, there'd be a line down the street. It's crazy.
Yep.
Filing in.
Whenever you don't have a curfew, it keeps getting later and later.
But I've always thought that's part of Mobile's mystique, that you stay open all night, because people that travel through were like, this is crazy.
It's pretty wild.
It's wild, but it's great.
There's a lot of times. I've played gigs before where I played 10 to 2, walked down the street and played 2:15 to 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But like, what other city do you do that? None. Zero.
None. It's cool. And when you think about the possibilities of the chaos that could cause, it really doesn't. Everybody kind of, keep it close. Nobody does anything stupid.
I had just as many wild things happen at 9 o'clock as I did at that. But it was just, I'm not sure I was doing my best work at 4 a.m. But
it was a couple of old friends.
It was a gig though. Look, there's something to be said about that too, because like they say about any craft, where it's like, was it 10,000 hours makes you a master, or whatever that old adage is. Experience, I think, is a big deal for us here in Mobile, and that there's two edges to that sword. It's like, you got to work you got to work on the grind day and night. You got to play 8 hours where somebody else is playing 2 hours of original music. But the benefit of that is you're getting chops from all that. So even if you're begrudgingly playing 2:15 to 5:30 in the morning,
Right.
that's 3 more hours where you're holding your instrument and singing.
Right.
And it's like at some point you start picking up little nuances and you get a little more dexterity and you get a little, you know,
Yeah, the experience.
probably
the
get a little more
experience
grit in
makes
your
you
voice.
grow. It makes you grow. You know what I mean? You know, we're to kind of compare that to just the live music, you know, venue owner and talent buyer side of it. You know, from year 1 to year 30, I mean, it's just night and day of the way business runs, the way things function. From the talent buying side, I mean, like way back then in the Monsoon days, I mean, you know, I kind of got to be friends with agents. Always on the phone. Really wasn't much emailing then. There were never any contracts, and then maybe toward the end, it was all just, you know, you gave your word, and that's just what it was. Maybe had a handful of contracts back then, but then, you know, it kind of, you know, as the world moved on, it got to be more formal.
Yeah,
and
well, that's
you know,
wild to think about all the acts that you had, national huge acts, and it was just a
I mean, and even if they sent me a contract once and then you fulfilled it, they probably wouldn't do it again. You know, it'd be like, very cool, Noel's good, he'd be all right. You know, we'll take care of him down there. But you know,
the good old days.
The good old days. That ain't like that anymore.
No, it is not.
But you know, I mean, and you know, there's nobody. I don't blame anybody for that because you've got to, you know, in this day and age, you got to protect yourself all the way around. Make sure
it only got to happen bad a couple times.
Right.
And it causes a big dent.
Somebody's got to be protected somewhere. You know, so I get it from both sides. But you know, that's just one of the little things of just how times have changed. You know, it's the way it's evolved.
Wes was talking about how important Monsoons was. I think I know you know. Back in the day, like I said, we spent so many nights there playing and hanging out, listening to music. It was really more than just another music venue. It was like,
it was fun. You know, I grew my legs there. Just, you know, being a music lover, but also, you know, business wise. You know, I really learned as far as a bar goes what not to do. And you know, it was a learning experience. It was so much fun. It tragically caught fire on April 16th, 2004. The reason I know that is because when my grandmother passed and I was looking through her stuff, she had saved the front page of the newspaper of that day. Wow. And which got me all teary-eyed, but I have it framed now on my wall in my hallway, the whole front page. And, man, something. Sad day.
Yeah.
But good segue.
I couldn't believe it when I heard the news, and it took. I think the reason it hit me so hard, one, it was, you know, my favorite venue to play, and you know, you're one of my favorite people, and it was your place, so obviously those two things hit me hardest. But it also was like it was the hub of our music scene, which, you know, was not just my livelihood, but everything I love and dreamed of being a part of, and it was like that was really gutted it pretty hard.
I felt the same way. So, you know, it was even from a different perspective. I mean, it was home for me. You know, it was my favorite place to go, for sure.
But I wrote the song. My band, The Ugly Stick, recorded it. It's just called My Old Friend. We used to drink. It's not even called Old Friend, is it?
It's called Berenson Apple Liqueur. Oh, and for some reason, it kind of took off in Mobile, Alabama, and it really didn't go. I believe it was Cortland Inge that kind of found it in his liquor cabinet and then coined it Old Friend because they kept saying they were going back to their old friend. But I mean, every bar in Mobile had an Old Friend. Every bar and restaurant.
Yeah. So I thought that's what we
very
drank all the
appropriate.
time. So I was like, Old Friend and My Old Friend. And so
Perfect.
My Old Friend. If there's a God that listens, I wish I'd have known his name, because the one I called was missing the night 210 fought the flames. Look at that old staircase, the one I climbed so many times. It ends in the sky, so I could climb it on up to heaven. But if I do, Would anyone be there for me to ask them why? What we had, we won't have no more. Memories fill the cracks of that old checkerboard floor. What we had, we'll never have again. And the last time will be the last time I see my old friend. It was a box that held the notes. Now that box has been punched with holes, so the music can breathe. But as it leaves, the last song fills the sky with smoke. Fred for another old friend. Fern watch for my mother. They could build 1,000,000 more, but they'll never build another. What we had, we won't have no more. Memories fill the cracks of that old checkerboard floor. What we had, we'll never have again. And the last time will be the last time I see my old friend. You won't see a phoenix rise tonight. The ashes remain as they are, and the power lines over Dolphin Street sag like the strings of a broken guitar. What we had, we won't have no more. Memories fill the cracks of that old checkerboard floor. What we had, we'll never have again. And the last time will be the last time. What we had, we won't have no more. Memories fill the cracks of that old checkerboard floor. What we had, we'll never have again. And the last time will be the last time I see my old friend.
Man, that's spectacular. Man, I remember the first time that you came in and played it, because I had Studio 5'4" over there on which is still
the best bar name I've ever heard.
Same logo with foot and inches, pretty good. But after the fire, I don't know if you remember, I immediately I turned 5'4" into Monsoons, built a stage and put up lights and sound within in a week's time. And
keeping the music alive.
Yeah, I kept the music going. But you came in on somebody was playing a solo gig, and you came in, and I had heard rumblings of the song, and then you came in and played it. I think I just wept right there on the bar. It's so good, dude.
Well, let's see. Before we get out of here, we have to get to the final card in the poker hand. So let's go to the river. This is you get to take whoever you want fishing with you in the river, or wherever your honey hole is. I don't know. So you just pick somebody. I mean, it could be somebody that you know and love that you just want to go fishing with, or it could be like I want to go fishing with Neil Peart, or whoever, whoever.
I kind of feel like this question. If I don't say my wife, I'm not. I'm gonna be in trouble.
I think that's fair. All right, she's going on a second trip. Yeah. She's going on a different trip.
She's driving.
Okay,
how about that?
She's driving.
I'm riding in the back.
All right. Of all the musicians that you've had there, which is tens of thousands of musicians that you've had pass through, pick one of those. How about that?
And I tell you, and I had the honor of just 2 nights ago. He came and played at my house with Kevin Kinney. I've been a huge fan of Kevin Kinney's since I was in grade school, and I even went and saw Driving and Crying at the South Alabama Theater and at Expo Hall. And they just happened when I bought Monsoons. They were already booked. And we just became friends, and he got me tickets. He played with Peter Buck at Eddie's Attic back in January, and we went up and saw him I mean, me and my buddy Mitch, and then, I mean, Peter Buck, REM,
Yep.
Ali, man.
Yeah.
It was killer. It was killer. But I've always loved Kevin's songwriting, so, you know, he's fresh on my mind, so he can go with me.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Kevin's a good pick no matter what. Well, man, I really appreciate you spending the afternoon with us and talking about some Mobile music and all.
I appreciate y'all including me and thinking of me. I always enjoyed talking about it, and I'm in agreement that, you know, this is a special place and these people here are real special. So let's keep pushing it. And
yeah.
I really think, you know, carrying on, you know, traditions that Cat started years ago is special too. So thank y'all for doing it.
Man. And I might have to head down there to Grace and check out a piano player after a while.
Well, come on, because I'm going to go down there and watch myself.
Okay. And before we shuffle up and get ready for the next episode here on Dealing the Sound of Mobile, you got to go all in. You got to put your chips behind a Mobile, Alabama musician, maybe one that is lesser known that we don't know that we could have on the podcast, or it doesn't have to be. Just anybody that you
can. I say you?
Nah.
Because I would. That's a fact.
Present company excluded.
Yeah. You know, and once, you know, just because it's fresh on my mind, man, our buddy Gabe Willis, you know, I get to see him play every week. And
That's a great one.
He is awesome. And, you know, when I first started seeing him, he would do all these obscure punk rock songs, you know, if you ever seen him do it.
Yeah.
But his range of even the songs he writes are really good.
That's a versatile
So
guy.
let's push Gabe Willis.
I love it. That's a great idea. We'll put him on.
But, you know, there are so many. I mean, we are blessed to be surrounded by such talent in this area.
I agree. And none of them would have the opportunity to make a living out of it if it weren't for folks like you. So thank you, Noell Broughton.
It's reciprocated, so thank y'all.
And thanks to you for tuning in to another episode of Dealing the Mobile Sound. We really appreciate you. And we appreciate Callahan's for providing us this beautiful location to record in. And, of course, as always, thank you to Will and the Bushmen for providing the intro and outro music. Until next time, I'm Eric Erdman.